Well, hi there pluckers, Arthur Fingers again with you. Thanks indeed for joining me for another guitar lesson. This one is a request I've had in from a viewer for a lesson on a song from Benjamin Todd of the Lost Dog Street Band fame, from one of his solo albums. The song's called Long Gone. Okay, standard tuning, but I do have a capo on the 4th fret, puts us into the same key as Benjamin Todd for this track. On this track Benjamin Todd is actually finger picking. I am using hybrid picking with a pick, doing strumming and picking with the pick. Okay, so it sounds a little bit different, but it's not too dissimilar. Okay, so without more to do, I'm going to go through the intro, my interpretation of the intro, and first verse and first chorus for you, break it down, show you exactly how I played it, and you should be good to go for the whole song. There are 2 more verses and 2 more choruses to follow, but they are played exactly the same as the first verse and the first chorus. Okay, so singing as usual for reference only, so let's get to it. Here we go. You don't want the lady of what I've got to share. I got flesh between my teeth from living in a snare. The more I bite and struggled, oh, the less I'd like to care. Once I'd held a virtue with green eyes and auburn hair. Once I held a virtue with green eyes and auburn hair. I'm ain't a maiden here or yonder that ever need this kind of love. Ain't a maiden here or yonder ever need this kind of love. And then off into another verse. Okay, so that's basically the gist of the song. Okay, obviously it changes every time I play it as far as the finger picking sort of simulation goes, but that's the gist of it. Okay, so what I'm playing for the intro is starting off on an A minor, and then what I'm doing is I'm hammering up from the 1st fret of the 2nd string with my pinky to the 3rd fret, and then playing the top E string open. Okay, so it's got that. Hammering up from the 1st fret, 1st finger, to the 3rd fret on the same string with the pinky, and then playing that top string open. Okay, and we go to a G, and I'm playing the G with my pinky on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. I'm not trying to hit the top E string at the moment. Well, you can do, but it doesn't really matter. So it's, and then what I'm doing, I'm doing that, strumming down from 6 to the 2nd string, which is fretted at the 3rd fret, then hitting that top string open, and then going to a C chord. Okay, so it's this. Okay, and there's a little bit of strumming on that C chord. And then what I'm doing then is adding my pinky to the 3rd fret of the top E string, then hitting the open E string, top E string. And if you hit upstroke to hit the top E string and the 2nd string together, that's fine. And then putting, again you're doing that sort of hammer from that 1st fret of the B string, the 2nd string, up to the 3rd fret, like you did on the A minor. Alright, so that's, so far we got this. and then back to the G, again with that third fret of the second string, not the third top E string, the second string. And then the top E string open, and then to the back to the A minor. Okay, so the first phrase. A bit of strumming on A minor, and then it goes back to the G and repeats what you did before. Strum from the 6th string down to the 2nd string, hit the top E string open, back to the C, do what you did before, top E string, 3rd fret, open top E string, hammer up from the 1st fret on the 2nd string to the 3rd fret, and then open E again. So back to the G, again that's 3rd finger, pinky is on the 3rd fret of the B string, down there, and then top E string open to the A minor. This time you go straight back to the G with that little finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. And this time you hit the open E string, and then put your first finger on the 1st fret of the top E string. Open on, so open, so let's try and do that again for you. So it's that strum from 6 down to 2nd string on the G chord, top E string open, put your first finger on that 1st fret of the top E string, then off again, then play that 3rd pinky where pinky is, 3rd fret of the 2nd string, open E string, back to, then we play a quick C, G, A minor, so ba, ba, ba. Got that? So let's try and go through this whole thing. Okay, so here we go from the beginning of it. It's a bit complicated, this. Okay, hopefully you got that. Okay, so let's just go through. I'll go through that very slowly. Okay, this is the hardest part of the song. Okay, here we go. Hopefully you make some sense out of that. Okay, so let's just do that once at normal sort of speed. Okay, so let's do it again. There's a very quick one of those in there as well after the intro's finished. You go back to the A minor, open 6th string, hammer up to the 3rd fret, and then open 5th string. That sort of thing. So once again, just to labour a point, but here we go again. I'll try and play it slowly again, okay? Okay, there we have it. So then we go into the verse, and it's an A minor. After to finish the intro, just play the A minor as long as you want. You don't want the lady of G, what I've got to see, share. Nice and easy, A minor. You don't want you don't want the lady of G, what you've got to see, share. Stay there, I've got the flesh between my teeth from G, living in a minor stair. So it's A minor to G to C, stay on C, C, G, A minor. Okay? So from the beginning, coming out of the intro. You don't want no lady of what I've got to share. I got flesh between my teeth from living in a snare. Right? Then we'll repeat the first line again, sort of same chord wise. More I bite and struggle, oh G, less I like to see care. Stay there. Once I held a virtue with green G eyes, and then A minor there. This time we just go back to the G, then repeat the last line, okay? That I once the virtue with green eyes and auburn hair. Got that? So we'll go through the first verse again, slowly. You don't want the lady of what I've got to share. I got flesh between my teeth from living in a snare. The more I bite and struggles, oh, the less I like to care. And once I held a virtue with green eyes and auburn hair. And once I held a virtue with green eyes and auburn hair. Okay? Then we go into the chorus, and it goes into an F. You can play a straightforward F or an F bar chord. F bar chord probably sounds better with a bit more bass in it. Okay? So it goes F. I'm long, back to C. So F to C, okay? I'm long, C gone. Ain't a maiden here or yonder that G. Need this kind of A minor love, okay? And then to G, ain't a maiden here or yonder. Ever need my kind of A minor love. Okay, so that whole chorus coming out of the last line where it goes, of the first verse. They once held a virtue with green eyes and auburn hair. I'm long gone. Ain't a maiden here or yonder ever need this kind of love. Ain't a maiden here or yonder ever need this kind of love. Okay, and then there's that little ending, the in between the two verses, the chorus and the next verse, is this bit that we fitted on the end of the intro, if you remember. So it comes out of the last line, ain't no maiden here or yonder that ever need kind of love. We go to the G with the third fret of the third string fretted, not the top E string, okay? And we go from 6 down to the second string. Top E string open, play that. First finger, first fret, top E string. Off. Third fret, B string. Top E string open. back to the A minor. You can do another one of those if you like. Top E string, bottom E string rather, 3rd fret, bottom E string, back to the open A, 5th string, A minor. Okay, so that little bit is coming out of that chorus on the G. Ain't the maiden here or yonder, ever need my kind of love. G, C, G, A minor. Okay, so I forgot to mention that. So you do that little riff, C, G, A minor. Okay, you've got the whole thing there. Just repeats then another verse, another chorus, another verse, another chorus. Okay, so let's just go through this whole thing from the start. Okay, as best I can. Obviously, the intro will change every time you play it, because you know you're going to play it the same twice. But don't worry, as long as it sounds something similar, it doesn't matter, does it? Okay, so here we go. Cat seems to like Benjamin Todd. Anyway, that's the intro again for you. Okay, so if she's going to be quiet, I will try and do the whole thing for you again. Right. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Let's try and do the whole thing for you again. Okay, here we go. You don't want no lady of what I'm gonna share. I got flesh between my teeth and living in the sand. The more I bite and struggle, oh, the less I like to care. And once I held a virtue with green eyes and other hair. And once I held a virtue with green eyes and other hair. I'm long gone. Ain't a maiden here or yonder that ever need this kind of love. Ain't no maiden here or yonder ever need my kind of love. You don't want no lady or take it from me. It's charming and so on. You get the idea, don't you? Should have been a C there, not a C minor. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks very much for watching. Hopefully that helped play that song, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.